How's it going, guys? Today we have another episode of WHOIS, and we've got Rui Martins today.
Bonjour.
How you getting on, man?
Honestly, I'm warm. It's hot outside.
Bro?
It's hot outside. Have you been outside today?
I was walking here with this, and I got here and I said, yeah, so it's coming off.
Sir, choices were made. The wrong ones.
I said, yeah, it's coming off, because what am I trying to do?
Yeah. I was told that it was going to be warm, but I didn't expect it to be this warm.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I'm not complaining, though. Keep it on. Keep it cute. But like...
I'm sorry reading tomorrow as you said this.
Yeah, because I know this, as soon as I step outside, it's going to start raining.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be sad because I'm wearing my Birkenstocks. So like, I can't
Oh,
be doing this.
yeah.
Like, I rarely get to wear them in this country. But
yeah, true. The 2 days that you get them,
I'm gonna rinse them.
You wanna make sure it's good.
Exactly. No, honestly, I've been good. I've been good. Just working a lot. A lot of projects on top of my 9 to 5, which I love. And it's just been such a good year so far.
Yeah.
I feel like I was telling you earlier, everyone's really locked in. Everyone's in their Zoom. Everyone's really trying to make something happen in 2024, and I love that. I find that to be very inspirational. So yeah, I've been very good.
Do you wanna just touch a bit on like what your 9 to 5 is, just obviously for people who don't know?
Yeah, so for people that don't know, I'm an account manager. I work for a lead gen consultancy business that basically helps creative agencies based in the UK generate new business, and I do this by establishing relationships between those creative agencies that are my clients and prospects. So this could be brands in various different sectors that those agencies want to operate within. So I can't really say much, but I'm working with different agencies at the moment that specialize in promotion in beauty, fashion, lifestyle, alcohol, and I basically do the whole relationship management aspect of that. So I help them reach out to the brands that they want to work with and set meetings up. So yeah, pretty much what I do on my day-to-day outside of work. So I found that to be quite fitting that I got a job in this area. And yeah, it can be stressful, but it's a very fun job. It's like, oh, person A meet person B. Let's just, work together.
So we can come up with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very fun. I do enjoy it a lot. And it gives me the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting people as well that work within various different industries. The exposure of that alone is just something that I'm very grateful for. So yeah, it's very fun. It's very fun. And then outside of that, I also do content creation. I don't know if I can actually consider myself to be a content creator by any means, because I just do whatever. I never even have a title to describe what I do. It's like, I just do whatever.
You don't like have like a niche that you're kind of really trying to follow or anything?
Well, I love anything that has to do with fashion, beauty, design, architecture. But then it's just, I'd say like lifestyle in general. Just life. I'm just living.
I always said to me like, because I want to do like lifestyle stuff as well, but like, I don't really know like what classifies as like quote unquote lifestyle. Like, is me posting a flick of me and my jorts like, is that lifestyle? Like,
that's a lifestyle. Get into the jorts.
Actually, posting flicks of the jorts. Like.
Actually, though, I have to say, I'm so sorry, but I'm the biggest jorts hater in the world. I don't like jorts. I will never fall behind.
That's the end of the podcast, guys. Yeah. That's enough for me. Yeah, that's enough.
I just don't get it. I really don't. I'm sorry. Like, be it jeans, shorts, shoes. Like, no.
You can't have the
no. They're just ugly to me. I'm sorry. I'm so
to be
sorry.
fair, when I first saw them, I was like, in my head, I thought of jorts like the really super skinny ones. So in my head, I was like, that's not really for me.
Yeah.
It's when I saw the baggy ones, it's like, oh, so now we're talking my language.
Right.
Now this is what I'm about. But I get what you mean. Yeah. They are being like rinsed.
You should them, but honestly, it's too much. It's the jorts to what do you call it? Carabiner? The little thing.
Oh, the key ring thing.
Yeah, jorts to key ring to hat to
loafers
to wife pleasers combo for me. Let's stop for a moment. Let's all just take a break and just come together, come to our senses. No,
fair enough. Off tangent from my amazing jorts, by the way.
Sure.
So how have you found like networking in the creative industry? Because I feel like even for myself, like networking is probably like I can attribute that to good like 50-60% of like have like even some of the jobs I get on a day to day, more or less, are just like someone knows someone who wants to work with me or has referred me, or like even just like how you said, like just going to certain places and you meet certain people and like, oh, like, what does you do? And
Yeah.
tell them and that sort of stuff. Do you feel like that's made a big impact on your work, both in your 9 to 5 and outside as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for a little bit of context, I'm Portuguese Luxembourger, so I was not born here in Scotland. I moved here in 2019 to pursue my studies, graduated literally last year. And I can tell you that if I hadn't put myself out there to, you know, just talk to people, meet people, and so on from relationships, I would not be where I am today. And I would not have met you, for instance. I would not have met Rebecca. I wouldn't not have met like all these fantastic people. And it's truly like a testament to how important networking is, especially if you work within the creative industries, because it's here in Glasgow specifically, everybody knows everybody. Like it's a big city, but it's small at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's truly impressive because you could be talking to somebody and most times, like 9 times out of 10, you'd have a person in common. Like y'all both know somebody because you either work together or you study together or just met somewhere. And it's fantastic. Honestly, I love that. And I would say for me particularly, I started going out more in my second and third year of university. Started just going to bars by myself, you know, started just putting myself out there. I love spending time with other people, but I very much think that time for yourself is very important. Like time to reflect, time to just be comfortable in your presence is very important. So I think that those 2 years of uni where I was just like constantly going out by myself, going to clubs by myself and doing all these things, that really allowed me to develop a higher sense of self-confidence. Right. And now I can just easily, it's light work, you know. I can just talk to people on the streets, you know. And besides, it's part of my job as well, so I need to talk to people, you know, like.
Can't just like walk in the room and be like.
Exactly. You can't just be, you know, frigid, you know. You need to open up a little bit. Obviously, I'm not saying don't do anything that is out of norm, but what I'm saying is just present yourself authentically and people will either vibe with that or just, you know, distance themselves. But either way, you know, just be yourself. Be yourself and know that that's good enough. Yeah.
I think especially up here because like there's not as much like I think like I was actually speaking to a friend yesterday about this. There's not as many like opportunities for like creative events per se as maybe like other places might have. So like let's say might have like an event purely like say even in the basement. Yeah. We'll have an event purely to say, okay, like this is for creative, young creatives especially, like junior creatives, like trying to get into the scene, like come meet new people and socialize and that.
Definitely.
I feel like up here there's not, at least as far as I've seen, and maybe there is, I just don't know about them, but I've not seen anything like that.
I can agree with you with that, especially because we live in Scotland and most of the culture here revolves around drinking, which is not necessarily everyone's cup of tea. And if you're like a young creative that, you know, just wants to work with other creatives but that doesn't really vibe with the whole, you know, let's go to a pub, let's go to a bar type of thing, you might find that it's a little bit harder to break into it because that's how most people tend to socialize here. Which is, you know, it's fair, you know, different culture. I don't blame it, but it can be a little bit harder for people that don't really fall into that. So I think that it's so important to have events and mixers and just bring people together, you know. Like I love when people go like, oh, we're doing this, you know, event for photographers, or we're doing this event for, you know, fashion students or whatever, you know, you should come along, or, you know, any sort of creative, you can come along, let's just chill, let's talk, you know, let's have a good time. I think that that those sort of things keep the creative spirit of you know, a city alive, you know, and we definitely need more of those here in Glasgow, I'd say. Definitely 100.
I think even like, because I think there are some events to be fair that do happen, like for example M4 and Friends, that BEMS ones. I think like every time I've seen that, there's always been like I'm not being able to go to a few, but like every time I see like pictures and videos and stuff, I'm seeing like, okay, like there's a lot of familiar faces and a lot of kind of like, it almost feels like there's a community within M4 and Friends specifically of like people like creatives and people who go and do like just see the performances and just kind of just take part in what's happening. So I think what he's building specifically, I think is pretty cool.
Definitely.
Cool. And I mean, even D1 as well, in another podcast said that he wants to kind of create an environment for engineers and like producers and stuff in his studio as well for them to be able to do stuff. So I think it's slowly building up to be like, okay, like there are spaces and there are things like building up to, I guess, facilitate that to some extent. So.
Absolutely. And big up to these creatives for holding the spaces and creating these like these atmospheres where, you know, other people can just come in and you know, develop some sort of symbiotic relationship. You know, it's very nice to have that, and I think that, it helps a lot of younger creatives as well that don't really have the means to perhaps access the most prestigious institutions, or they don't really have the access to the spaces that where you would meet these people, to just be involved at a more creative to creative level.
To be like, okay, like I can directly speak to that person, like, oh,
exactly,
how did you do X, Y, Z and stuff?
Yeah, so, like there shouldn't be like a hierarchy of sorts. Like let's not do that. I think it's kind of boring if you do that. It stifles a lot of creativity. Like it's just like, okay, you think that you feel better by imposing your superiority over others. Like you're just missing out. You could have actually collaborated on something beautiful, magnificent, but you missed out because of your ego,
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's a discussion for a different time.
Actually, no. Let's rule that in because I like that you said that, because I guess this speaks of the creative scene in the general sense, like not even just in here, but I think like a lot of people, pride and ego is a very big thing, and I feel like in my case, I feel like I've experienced it in a way that's like it ruins a lot of good things, basically. Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of people have a lot of pride and have a lot of ego, which is not bad. You should back yourself. At the end of the day, like you should be confident in what you're doing. But it almost gets where it's like it's a bit too much, and it almost actually then starts to ruin opportunities for, like we were saying, for other people and even for themselves. Like they're then letting their pride and ego get the best of them and not actually being able to do certain projects, certain people, or do certain things with other people, and be like, just because of the sake of, oh, I think I'm better than them, or I don't really not even respect them, I don't even like rate them like that, and that sort of thing. So
definitely,
is that something that you see as well, or?
I would say but then again, it's more of a general thing as an artist. I'm not an artist by any means. Like, don't even conflate me with that. But like, but I would say, I mean, artists need to possess ego to a certain extent. I think there's always going to be an element of pride involved with the creation of art. Especially if it's something that you hold to yourself so dearly. But that again, like you said, shouldn't inhibit you from landing new opportunities with people that you haven't worked before. Put yourself in spaces that you wouldn't necessarily put yourself in. Particularly. A little bit off topic, but for example, I joined the running club earlier this year, and it's something that Sam was so foreign to me, because you would have spoken to me 2 years back. I was like, running. I would have laughed in your face. I would have properly cackled. I'd be like, BFFR. Like running, me, no. But late last year, I was like, let me just put myself out there. Let me put myself in a circle of people that I would perhaps not even have the proximity to be with before. Yeah. And so I joined one, and it's one of the best decisions I made this year. Honestly, not only from a physical standpoint, but also from a social and mental standpoint as well. You develop a sense of discipline and a sense of accountability towards not only yourself but other individuals as well that you run with. It's a very fun feeling, and you also get to just experience different mindsets and just understand how people do things differently as well. It's just such a fun environment to be in. So I would say if you've ever wanted to join any club, doesn't necessarily need to be a running club, but like any sort of hobby that has a club, I would say 100% go for it. But just to come back into center here before, in terms of like artists and ego and collaborations and everything, I feel like in this age that we're in, especially with social media as well, it's so important to foster those connections with people, and obviously foster connections that are authentic, connections that will obviously be mutually beneficial and that make sense. You're not just going to collaborate with somebody because they have more followers. Just for the sake, just for the sake of it. Like, that's kind of boring. What's the essence of it all? What is there for you to actually actualize or like work on? So I would say just to round it back together nicely, because I know I just went off a tangent. That's what I do a lot. I'd say put yourself out there, collaborate with individuals, and just don't be afraid to experience new things. Yeah, so it's a good thing.
100. I think I'll kind of take it back to the running side of things, and I think that's I've always said to people that like running a business, the determination. Okay, let me start again. I've always said to people that, in my opinion, if you're someone who can wake up and go do something like running every weekend, or go do gym 3 times a week or whatever, that's the same sort of energy and discipline you can really give to like a creative business, for example. It's the
definitely.
same. It's the same skills, like very transferable. Like I think a lot of people, they can get up and do the gym stuff, and they get up and do the running stuff, but then they'll look at business and it looks intense. It looks intimidating. You get like there's a lot of things you need to work out, but
Definitely.
I feel the same tenacity that you have from doing exercise and that sort of thing, or even just like putting yourself out there to even just join a club, not even necessarily exercise, but just like saying, you know what, today I want to go meet new people. I'm gonna go and figure out. I'm gonna go join a club. Same thing with business. Like I think a lot of the stuff I've done in business context is just I've just said, you know, let me just try and figure out.
Yeah.
There's no like handbook, there's no rule book to be like, oh, you should maybe do this, or should do. Obviously, there's maybe like principles you might want to follow, but for the most part, any business owner will tell you that like I just tried a few things out.
Definitely.
One of them worked, and here we are. You get it? So.
And that's a great testament to your success, because honestly, if you had just like stayed in the perpetual planning process of like, oh yeah, so this is how I'm gonna do it. Like, you know, this is the framework. These are the step-by-step rules that I'm gonna apply. You know, like you can have as many frameworks, as many tactics, as many plans as you'd like, but if you're not doing anything, then you're missing out. You know,
what? There's a quote
you're missing out.
I always forget. It's basically says that like planning without action is more like planning without action is basically daydreaming. Yeah. And it was someone whose lines. I was like, no, that's a fair point, because it's like I feel like a lot of people get stuck in the planning side of things it then just stops you from acting.
Definitely.
And I think you learn best from just doing stuff, like just be like, you know what, let me just be proactive and saying, let me just try. And it's easier said than done. Like obviously, like I can say and say that having done that, but when I first started, I was like, whoa, like what am I doing? Sitting,
what is going on?
Doing stuff. You get it? Like even this podcast here, like the first few episodes, I was hella nervous. Yeah, and I don't know why, because I make content normally, so I was like, why is this saying different? So it's just one of the things you have to just really push past and try and say, you know what, let me just send it and just see what happens.
Definitely, you can't walk around on eggshells all the time. You will inevitably make mistakes, and that's completely fine. Yeah, you know, that's completely fine. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like this being my first official podcast, I'm also like, okay, I have to be very mindful of what I say, but at the same time, I'm trying to be loose. I'm like, okay, this is just conversation between two friends. Like, I've spoken to you before various times. Our conversations are always so interesting, and at the time, I always thought that we should put this like in video and actually record it. So like, you know, the fact that we're doing it now is so funny. But I definitely agree with you. It's you learn by doing. You really have to just like get up and go after it. You know, you can plan as much as you want, but if you're not actually giving yourself the time to pursue that, you're not doing anything for yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors because you're just stifling your growth. You know, you are basically telling yourself that, okay, I need to be this person in order to, you know, do that, which is not fair. Like, just start doing it, you know, start incorporating those aspects. You know, if you want to run a successful business, says the person that doesn't have a business, you just have to, like you said, just do. You know?
100%.
So yeah, I would say though, and I agree as well, like if you have the discipline to show up for yourself, you know, 3 times a week, go to the gym, or show up to yourself every weekend, go for a run, I think that same discipline you can apply within like a broader context, like within the context of a business. You know, granted, it's not for everybody. Not everyone needs to become an entrepreneur. Like, you don't have to. And I think that there's a lot of pressure actually, especially with our younger generation, because we see everybody on TikTok, you know, they have their own little side hustle, and like, you know, the typical podcast is, bro, if you're not making $7,000 a year, $7,000 a month,
you're basically a bum if you're not making 100,000.
What are you doing
by 24,
bro? 23, you're still living with your parents, bro. Get your shit together. Or something.
It's so bad. Actually, let's talk about that. Actually, like for yourself, so we'll just talk about yourself. So I feel like it's hard to kind of say other people, right? But do you feel like that impacts the way in which you kind of go about it, or do you try and actively like try and stop it, like stop like that sort of ideology seeping in, if that makes sense?
In terms of what? In terms of having
like just seeing just like the comparison of seeing other people doing certain things that maybe you aspire to do. Like, do you feel like it's something that you necessarily struggle with? Because I feel like that's something that I do sometimes struggle with, depending on like what it is, if that makes sense.
I would say comparison, and like to quote your video as well, because I've seen, because I do pay attention how people say comparison is a thief of joy. I'd say like there's truth, like, you know, there's a certain aspect of truth to that. Yes, if you compare yourself too closely to other individuals that might be performing in the same niche, or just other individuals in general, you might feel extremely self-conscious, and that might make you feel bad if you don't see yourself as highly, or if you rather you see yourself as lower or lesser than said person. But at the same time, I think that comparison is a very powerful thing. You know, comparing yourself to, you know, a person that you admire, like an idol, or you know, just somebody that you find inspirational, like a mentor or somebody like that. I think that can foster further change within oneself, and that can help you achieve things that you wouldn't necessarily go after if you hadn't been exposed to that person and seen what they're capable of doing. Like, there's so many creatives on Instagram, TikTok. I'll name like one creator that I really, really love and that I've been following since the beginning of time, basically. Dion Hinton, based in New York. You've probably seen him. If you're a black guy, you've probably seen him. Like, when I was in my Pinterest era, like heavy down my Pinterest era in high school, I was like trying to dye my hair, right? And I would go on Pinterest and I was like, okay, blonde, like, because I was trying to see like how it would suit me, of course, in terms of like skincare and complexion. I was like, black guy, blonde hair, bleach blonde. And the first person that came through was Dion. And I was like, okay, interesting. And so I started seeing his vlogs and everything. And the way like he just grew so much. And I say this, I try not to be patronizing. Like, I'm not patronizing him by any means by saying like the way he grew so much. It's just like an observation. But experiencing his growth through YouTube and social media mediums, it's just been like, wow, like you are capable of actually doing that, you know, like as a black queer dude that literally comes from Arkansas. Like, he has done incredible things. Like, he's worked with Range Rover. Like, he shot a commercial with Range Rover, which is fucking...
Can't lie. If Range Rover, if you're watching this...
Range Rover, if you're watching this...
yeah, you got two cars to...
You got two guys out here. We good at what we do. He can shoot. I'll pose. We'll make it work.
send us an invoice, yeah?
Send us a little brief. We'll make it work. No, but honestly, just seeing what he was capable of achieving, you know, going to these, like, amazing fashion events and just, like, you know, experiencing this thing just as an observer, it's just been like, wow, like you can do that. Like, it's so inspirational, you know? Yeah. So I take a lot from that. Like, and I see it as positive comparison. You know? Yeah. It's not like, oh, you're doing that, I have to do that. Like, no, you're doing that. That makes me believe that I'm capable of also achieving like similar, you know, things of similar nature, you know? So if you have somebody that you admire, you might be consciously or unconsciously comparing yourself to said person. But try to twist it and view it in a positive thing. You know, like, what attributes or what elements from that person do you resonate with, and what do you think you could take from that person? What do you think you could learn from that person? You know, because there's always something that you can learn from somebody else. You know. Yeah. And I found that a lot of the times I tend to relate a lot to people that obviously look like me. You know, in terms of, you know, skin color and everything. So it's just nice to have those figures, you know, show me that it is possible, you know, to live that is that life. You know? It is real, you know. It's not like just a glass ceiling.
Yeah,
you know, so compare yourself, but be mindful.
I think because even in the video that I made that you referred to, I was kind of just trying to basically say that, like, just change your frame of reference, because at the end of the day, like, the reason why I don't necessarily like the quote comparison thief of joy is because it's inevitable. Like, you're gonna compare yourself. Like, that's how humans for centuries have literally lived lives basically on comparison. Like, like these cavemen were literally, oh yeah, like that's the biggest mate, so I'm gonna go with them. But so I think it's just changing. Okay, like, I'm gonna compare myself regardless. So how can I make this more of a positive thing to say, okay, you know what? I'm comparing myself. I'm not decided to be like, oh, I suck, but to be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's someone, like you're saying, who looks like me, who dresses like me, who does stuff similar to me. If they can do X thing, then okay, cool. Like, it must be a reality for me to be able to do that. Exactly. And even touching back on what D1's podcast, he was saying that, like, he likes being up here specifically because people can look at him and say, oh, you know what? They can literally look at him, sit next to him and be like, oh, okay, he's done what I want to do. So now he then acts as almost like an anchor for them guys to be like, oh, okay, clearly guy engineers from Scotland can actually be big because D1's done it. Or even if you look at WHIOIS, they look at Peace Fat Pants, like, oh, okay, like he's doing some serious stuff, so cool. Or Lewis owns a studio. Like, okay, this guy owns a studio. So I think it's good to kind of like, like compare yourself, not in a way like, oh, like I wish I had what they had and I'm never gonna have it, but just be like, okay, cool, they have some cool stuff. Yeah. That's interesting. Maybe I can see if I can get that for myself. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, it's important as well to remind yourself that every single path is unique. You know, your path is going to be vastly different from someone else's path. The periods of growth that you experience might have been periods of loss to them, and vice versa. So, you know, unless you know a person's full circumstances, comparing yourself and demanding that, you know, you have the same life or the same things as they do is a little bit, you know, it's wrong, because you don't have the same life. You know, you have your own specific path, and you can trail your path however you see fit. So just do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want. Honestly, don't limit yourself. You know, I feel like we have so much potential, and we oftentimes box ourselves, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. But for instance, for myself, I know that I'll never limit myself.
Yeah.
I'll never limit myself. I'll never box myself or categorize myself, because I know that I'm capable of doing anything that I put myself my mind to. You know, if I truly want to do something, I will just make it work somehow, some way. And I don't need to do it alone. That's a big misconception. You don't need to do anything alone. You can do it alone if you want to. That's great. Go for it. But you can always ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help from your community, from your friends, your family. Like, it's okay to rely on people. You know, you can rely on people. You can trust people, you know, and you should trust people. You know, living a life of loneliness and untrustworthiness, and just feeling like everyone's, you know, about to get you at all times. That's a very miserable life. And, you know, at least for myself, I know the life that I want to live, baby, and it's not gonna be miserable, baby. You're gonna be, you know, perpetual state of holidays out here. Like, I'm
every week is a holiday, man.
Yeah, honestly, get me on a plane. No, but honestly, just, you know, surround yourself with people that want to see you grow. Surround yourself with people that want to see you well as well, that want to push you to the heights that you can achieve. So and provide the same service back, you know. So,
real. We'll kind of go off tangent a bit, but we could maybe talk a bit more about your like content creation side of things, and like what does like the future of that look like, or like, and what's the sort of stuff you've been doing like in the past?
Content creation is kind of fun for me, because people say this all the time, but I generally view my Instagram as like a journal / diary, where I just plaster all my thoughts in there. You're gonna see some stuff that you don't want to see. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but I promise it'll all make sense. But I generally view it as a sort of inspiration board / messaging app. So for me, content creation is something that I started doing a lot more ever since I moved here. I guess, you know, being in the same room as so many creatives, you know, and seeing them do their thing, you're like, oh shit, I want to do my thing as well. You know, like, I want to be my Zoom as well. So let me do my thing, And like, I just I post a lot. I'm like kind of ashamed to admit that, but I post a lot more than I should probably. But on Instagram, it's much more, you know, static photos, very much fashion content, inspo content, like anything that I find to be pretty. I just like beautiful things. I like pretty things.
I feel like I'm the same. Like I always just post random stuff, like random flicks on my Instagram. And sometimes people are like, why the hell are you taking a picture of like a coffee cup? And I'm just like,
it looks good.
I just thought it looked cool in the moment. Like, I don't know. I wasn't really like thinking of too tough about it, but
exactly. Don't like. I think there's two ways to look at this. You can either hyper analyze everything that you see on social media, right? Like hyper go into it, like, okay, that cup of coffee, like it needs to look like this, or the content that I'm gonna post, it needs to be like that, because it's gonna curated. Super curated, and that's completely fine. I'm not saying that's wrong, but you can also like take a very mindless approach to it, which is, I think, what we were doing a lot prior to TikTok, actually, like our generation at least, and also like indie sleaze, like the indie sleaze boom in the 2010s, like where it was very much like you were posting to your friends, not to an entire audience, you know? So
it's like goofy stuff.
Goofy things, you know. It'd be like a blurry photo. It'd be like, you know,
you and your friends on like a random day.
Exactly, with the ugly ass fonts, you know, like
with the deep fried stuff as well. Oh,
please, no, please, no. Let's
post it up in a fuel station.
Let's leave that away, please. No. It's cute, but no. Too authentic.
It's too much.
No, but I'll say like for content creation specifically, now that it's a viable career. I mean, people are making bank out of content creation. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly.
The bank is banking, bro.
The bank is banking. These brands are paying
serious
cash.
Serious
money. Like, I think it's becoming a much more, or rather, it has become a viable career trajectory for many people. Obviously, it's still a job, so it's not all flowers and
Just wake up and do
roses.
whatever, yeah.
Like, no. I think there's a certain element of strategy that goes into it that a lot of people oftentimes forget or forgo.
I'll point it out just a sec. I think I like that you said it because I think a lot of people just see content creation be like, you just wake up, take a picture of something, and then you post it, and that's you get paid.
No.
Like, obviously, don't get me wrong. Like, content creation is a lot easier than most jobs, like your typical job out there. Like, it's not going to be the same intensity as like a 9 to 5 or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a job. You get it?
Exactly.
Like, you still have to, like, even I think when I was making reels like consistent, like a couple of reels a day, I'd literally wake up, go to the gym, sit and edit, plan, shoot, and edit the reels.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 of them, and then like do all the caption SEO for it.
Yeah.
By the time I did that, it was literally like 6, 7.
Yeah.
So it was like, imagine I'm doing
time.
that for 5 days straight. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just like I just sit there and just maybe
Diddy
make a
daddy.
reel for like 30 seconds and that's
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I'm done really. Do you get
No.
it? So, but yeah,
It's difficult. No, I definitely agree with that. Like, editing alone,
Hey,
finding a suitable trend sound. Yeah,
Insane, bro.
these are issues. These are big issues.
It's real life stuff. Man.
I'm like, get it sexy, get it sexy.
Get out and repeat.
I swear. No, it is very time consuming.
Yeah.
You didn't end up realizing it, but it is fairly time consuming. Obviously, it's not so much as a blue collar job, for example, and no one's trying to compare it to that, but there's still some merit to the craft, you know. Like, I think that if there wasn't any merit to it, people would not have gone and soared to the heights that they are.
They wouldn't be getting paid by these brands to do stuff together. So
Exactly. Do you have any favorite content creators?
there's one guy called Low 100T. He's incredible, man. Like, this guy genuinely shoots like it's basically mini movies. Like, he made one like week in the life, and it was like a week of him just doing stuff. He lives in LA and stuff, and he's like. His camera and like graded it and everything, and it was like an hour long, and I watched the whole thing in one go. And I was sitting there, I was like, that's kind of inspired me to kind of then obviously do my own stuff, which I'm going to be working on for a bit. So he's a big one. Ron Doug as well. He's kind of like a fashion, like Instagram content creator for the most part. He's also jumped into YouTube recently, but I started following him when he was doing fashion mainly. Yeah. And it's kind of like really cool, just like fashion reels and just kind of like outfit of the day, and then like this is what we're doing today and that sort of stuff. And then in the UK, that seems to be on the rise as well.
Yeah, definitely. It seems to be big on the rise. Like, in the UK.
Like, do you know a guy called Mo?
Mo.
He does a lot of like streetwear kind of stuff.
I'm not sure.
He's kind of big in that as well. So yes, I think I like a lot of like fashion Instagram stuff, and then on YouTube more kind of like week in the life. Yeah. Like day in the life type vlog, that sort of stuff. Like really cinematic looking kind of ones. So
it's very appealing actually. You'd never think, but it's very appealing. And you can tie it back to the idea that we we're talking about comparison before and yada yada yada. But like weekend live videos are just like nice. Like I wanna let me see what you're doing. Let me see what you get up to. You know, like I wanna see how you prep your makeup before the show. I wanna see like what your thoughts are on so and so. Like it's just entertaining to me. Like
it feels like you're there with them, like almost.
Exactly. Like it's and that's the beautiful thing about YouTube as well. And that's why I think the platform is never really gonna go anywhere. Even with the dawn of TikTok, which, by the way, they're hot water in the US. I don't know what's going to happen, but US content girlies, beware, because y'all might be chopped soon. So beware.
I think on the YouTube, they're all jumping on YouTube saying, you know what, let's get out of this TikTok thing. Yeah. So at least you have something else. So.
But there's a demand for longer form content as well. You know, I think like short form content has sort of done its thing. I mean, it's still effective. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as effective as before. Yeah. So a lot of creatives are now pivoting onto longer form content platforms such as YouTube or even podcasts on Spotify and so on.
I wonder who'd do that.
I wonder who'd do that. Crazy. Oh, shit. No, but people, you know, because it's so easy. For example, if I'm cleaning the house, I'll pop in like a podcast. I'll put a podcast in the back, and I'll just listen to that for an hour whilst I'm doing something. You know, I think that like we're not talking about this enough, but like our lives have drastically changed after COVID. Like we have suffered. We're still traumatized. You know. Like we are longing for companionship, and that can be either in the real world or the digital world. So it only makes sense for people to be so invested into other people's, you know, livelihoods, especially people that they want to, you know, assimilate to, or perhaps they want to
Like emulate almost.
Emulate almost, yeah, exactly. So it's very interesting to see how this is progressing, and I feel like again, like I said before, a lot of TikTokers are now going to jump on the YouTube long form content type of thing and build more stable audiences.
Yeah.
If you look at Mr. Beast, who's all pun intended, a beast. Like this man is honestly, wow. Like
He's an animal, bro. Yeah,
he's colossal.
Yeah,
you know, he's
yeah.
huge. And I think he's currently trying to expand into the Chinese social media landscape as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and I heard that it's been quite successful so far. Yeah, he's doing all right. So he's doing incredible things, like things that I could just like imagine. And this is all off of content creation. You know? So it's truly what you make it. It's honestly what you make it. But yeah, what do you think?
I think even for me, so I think like I posted on Instagram about a couple months back, and I'm saying that I kind of want to stop posting on Instagram as much. And the reason for that was kind of just like, come back to what you're saying, like short form for me just felt very much like rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it works, like you can grow a following, like you grow an audience, but it just felt too limiting. And I think even I was speaking to my family the other day about this one, you were saying that like, once you get known for something on the likes of Instagram and TikTok, you're kind of just stuck in that corner.
Yeah.
So
categorizing yourself.
Exactly.
Boxing yourself, yeah.
So, which is why I kind of like, even on my Instagram page, I try and do the tutorials and stuff. But I was trying to do stuff which is a bit more just like me just like talking about stuff. That way it's a bit of both. So be like, okay, like there's something for the algorithm, but there's something for me just like for the sake of making content, something that I just want to make and just saying and stuff. That still aligns with like obviously the business goals and all that sort of stuff. But I think I kind of had the realization, you know what, I'm probably better off putting my time into YouTube because I can actually do that. I can incorporate both in one video, for example.
Definitely.
And then even as well means that like then you start talking monetization and even just growing like a deeper audience. Cause I feel like again, Instagram audience is cool, like followers and that, but I feel like it's I don't want to say shallow, but it feels very
No, you can say it. Say it.
Very surface, very surface level. Like I think it's only if you get past a certain number. But again, I don't want to advocate for people to chase the numbers. But I think it's only after a certain number where it's like, okay, like now you actually have an audience. But I think like as long as you're under that number, it's just gonna feel like just a number on the screen, really.
Definitely.
You get it? So
definitely.
Whereas YouTube, I feel like you could have 1,000 subscribers, but those guys, every time you post, they'll be there.
Exactly.
They'll have notifications like every time that you make a video, that, and if they really like you, they'll be like, oh yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And even people like, even from a business perspective, let's say take creativity out of it, but people who run a business and also YouTube at the same time say that like, they find a lot more success because it's like the people see the process that they do behind the scenes, for example. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, that's what they do. Oh yeah, Definitely. Okay. So even just from a business, like purely just financial standpoint, it's a win in that sense as well. So
there you go.
So yeah.
And that's the thing though, you can have 100 subscribers, right, that are consistent and that show up for you every time you post. Or you can have 100,000 subscribers, but you get like very shitty engagement rates.
Yeah.
You know. So what would you rather have? And then if you're trying to scale up a business, I would say at the beginning it'd be a lot wiser to have those 100 core members that are willing to buy into your business, buy into your idea. They're and you nurture them. You know, you make them feel seen. You build that community. You advocate. You let them advocate for you.
Yeah.
You let them become ambassadors. Because just to go off a little bit here, I feel like the age of social media consumption is not the same. Like it's obviously always changing, but now it's not just creator and viewer anymore. It's creator and ambassador of some sorts. Because if I'm watching your content and I really vibe with what you're saying, I'm gonna in a way take an ambassadorial position. You know, I'm gonna be like, this is the guy they should be following because he's great. He does this, that, and the third,
this is why I feel you should think.
Exactly. And they're gonna be outspoken and they're gonna, like very proudly represent themselves as members of your community.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing. Like it's nowadays, that's why a lot of brands and big mega corporations are very much working on building communities, and they do so by tapping into not the traditional influencer that would have like maybe 200K on Instagram, but by tapping into the influencer that has a very tight hold over smaller niche like communities, you know, but that can very much, engage with them on a very hardcore level. So that's the prioritization that we're moving towards right now on social media. And I would say as well, like just coming back to the topic before of Instagram categorizing you for like and getting just known for one thing, it's very important to be multifaceted in the social media world. Like you don't want to just be known for one thing, because that's like that can run out very quickly.
Yeah,
you know?
because like say for example, like I thought I'm big into my cars, right? And I follow a lot of car content creators.
Yeah.
But the reality is coming to a point where it's like, probably in our lifetime, petrol cars are going to be phased out to some extent. Exactly. So it might not be an issue maybe for the guys now, but like people who are coming in and seeing, they'll make content, but then one day comes back, cool, so now no petrol cars.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, their niche of modifying engines
just
and
dies.
turbos, it just goes away. So I think you need to look at the long-term goals where like, hey, like, I want to be X thing.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable? Even if it's not sustainable for the long run, but you can still at least like say, okay, like I can make this work for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
But within that 5-10 years, I can start thinking of other things and other ways to, I guess, progress in the direction I want to go. Exactly. Yeah. So I think, and that's a lot. I feel like that's a very, what's the word? That's a very like, I don't want to like meta almost like way of looking at it. Like not many people really look at it in that. It's a very nuanced way of looking at it. But at the same time, I feel like, especially if you're running a business, it might not be as applicable if you're just like a solo creator. Yeah. Because I feel like you probably have a lot more options in that sense. But if you're a business, like I can't all of a sudden, like say my business got to a certain point, I can't then all of a sudden just get up and say, nah, so we're pivoting tomorrow. Yeah. Because I got employees to pay, I got things to sort out. So it's like, I can't then just be like, oh yeah, so we're just going to pivot and I don't know how you guys are going to figure out like, your bills and stuff. But I'm off, so
I'm out, bye.
You get it. So,
good luck.
As a business specifically, you definitely need to have more of a long-term
strategy. Viewpoint. Yeah, so. Definitely. It'd be a lot harder for you to just pivot into something else out of the blue, but like, yeah, we're gonna be doing this now. Like, no. It's like, people are like, I don't think so. Bye.
Yeah, so yeah, what the future of what do you think the future of content creation looks like? Then I guess side tangent off what we're saying now.
I'd say the future looks very community driven. I'd say authentic. You have to stand for something. Yeah. And something that is bigger than you. Yeah. Typically, you can't just, I don't think presenting yourself with just your outfits is enough anymore. If you do it with fashion or whatever, like you need to advocate for something. I think it's very important. It helps also build cohesion within your community. You're all working towards something that is bigger.
Like a goal.
Yeah, there's like a goal, a vision, let's say. I would say from a brand's perspective, from what I understand, they're a lot more nitpicky now when it comes to collaborating with content creators. Right. Whereas before, I would say like 2 years ago, brands were just handing like collaborations left, right, and center. Like, yeah, I was like, damn, that's crazy.
You're just giving out money like that.
Yeah, like I heard the girlies in, the girlies in the US are getting paid bank. Like,
right. I want to talk about this, right? Because everyone always looks at me like I'm a madman when I say this, but I'm like, guys, like the creative industry here is big. Yeah. The US is infinitely bigger.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's unfathomably much bigger. Yeah. I think a lot of people, they just think, oh, it's just like here. And I'm like, no, guys, no. Like, no. The same thing we do here, they're getting paid 10 times
10x. More. Baby.
Did you get it?
These content creators are being invited to become creative directors within companies. They're getting stock options. We are not in the same ballpark.
Stock options is crazy.
For like creative work,
Days.
And it's insane. Like it speaks to how big the industry is there compared to here. Here you will be fighting for 4 days with with an influencer marketer because she doesn't want to pay you, or sorry, they don't want to pay you 350 quid for like a video. They wanna lowball you.
Yeah, but we'll do it for 50, right?
Yeah, do it for 50. Like person, I need to edit this video. I need to make sure that keywords are right. I need to adjust all these different things. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and you're trying to lowball me. Like, no.
It's like we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that. Like, no. Like, look at our siblings, like brothers and sisters over in the US, like how much money they're making. Like, replicate that over here, please and thank you, right now. Like,
and the creative industry is really unfair in that sense over here. Because even what I do videography, I really struggle to kind of like try and even, I don't even like trying to justify my prices, but like I think trying to tell someone why it costs as much as it does. I think a lot of people just look at it, they see the number, they're like, whoa. Yeah. And I'm like, but guys, like the things that you've asked me for alone, just to even book the studios, the models, this and that.
Yeah.
That's already a couple hundred.
Exactly.
That's before I even take any money from that.
Yeah, exactly.
You get it? So even the same content creators, or even just like producers, artists, like tech people who are in textiles and that sort of stuff. Like there's so much that goes into it. It's kind of like I think in the US they understand that a bit more. It's about okay, like this person is a content creator and they do X, Y, Z, and this is how it works. This is what we can expect from them and how it works for us, how it benefits us. Whereas here it's like a bit like you said, a bit of tug and pull to be like you almost have to almost kind of like sit and make a whole plan as to why they should even book in the first before you even actually start doing the work. So
definitely,
so, yeah.
I feel like in the US there's a lot more merit to a person's craft. You know, like say if you're a photographer, freelance photographer in the US, there's a lot more respect to you, like towards you, like based on the fact that you do that compared to here. I would say, there's different perceptions when it comes to that. You know, obviously, like these are changes that have, I would say, in my opinion, occurred quite recently. But still, like the US is light years ahead when it comes to this like sort of creator economy. You know, and it works fairly nice, and that's why they do the brand trips. They do all these like incredible things like the festivals and you know it's just like huge.
I think Topic was one of the brands I think like they're doing a lot of kind of like catered towards the younger audience and more like they're very much more like caught up in terms of branding and marketing. I feel like a lot of brands lagging behind in terms of the branding and the visuals and the marketing. It's like the CEOs are older guys who like if you try and preach them like why they should do like a influencer campaign, they'll be like, we don't care. Like, we're making money and stuff. We couldn't care less. So
that's true.
So I think I like seeing their stuff, and even like Telfar, for example. They're also another brand that I feel like they're very in touch with. Nude project and stuff.
And grab my bag, but I'm not carrying. I'm not carrying my Telfeezy but today. But if you know me, you know that I'm always carrying.
24/7.
Telfeezy. Like if you know me, you just know. So
I need to get myself one. I can't.
You need to like get up and go get yourself a Telfar right now.
I don't know what thing is for me. It's what color I get though.
Like
I've always struggled to like what would I actually get.
It's tough, but there's like the dark blue copper color. There's like a nice chocolate color as well that they released recently.
Is it kind of the darker brown one? I do like that one. I did think just the typical black, but then I was like, I feel like it's a bit boring.
Yeah, like go out, get yourself a nice color. You know,
like a bright yellow one or something.
Oh.
I do. I really like the yellow one.
Yeah, the yellow one is cute.
But then I'd be wearing like imagine wearing this and then I'm wearing like a all black.
No, they actually slap with the jorts, which I don't rate, but you know.
Just say you hate jorts, right?
If I'm telling you, if this world had one jorts hater, it would be me.
It's you.
Yeah, it'd be me.
The number one jorts hater.
Jorts hater, yeah. No, but honestly, I feel like you said, a lot of these brands are not necessarily interested in, you know, promoting their marketing when it comes to like through the use of influencers, which I can understand to an extent, but at the same time, like I feel like you're missing out, especially when it comes to building loyalty with a fan base. Like Gen Z and younger, I mean, millennials and Gen Z tend to be like so loyal to a brand. Like, I've been so loyal to so many different brands, like brands that I just kept on like rinsing like for the past 3 years because they've got such a nice like community and you know at the end of the day I know these are just products, but at the same time there's like a little bit of psychology that goes behind it, so you feel attachment, you know, you feel a sense of attachment. So
it's kind of come back to what we're talking about, like having a sense of community almost. Yeah,
exactly.
Like you see someone wearing, like for example, like Place and Face is a brand that I really like, but it's one you don't really see up here often.
Yeah.
So I do see someone like that, I'm like, oh, yeah, they must like. I kind of almost think, oh, they must be kind of into other things that I might be into.
Exactly.
So
exactly. It's such a nice way to signal, you know, signal to other people what you're into.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And obviously we do this not only through clothes and everything, but also through the brands and things that we consume. You know, it could be like sporting Nike bag or whatever, and to inform somebody else of the person that you are and the things that you're into and whatever. But yeah, I think it's very important because brands should definitely leverage that connection that creators have to their respective communities.
Yeah,
and you know, try to sort of promote them as ambassadors. You know, so.
And I think a lot of people think about it being very like the typical kind of sleazy salesman type thing, but I think if you do it right, it doesn't actually need to be, because if, like, say for example, there's someone who makes like a lot of fitness content and you make fitness apparel, just say, look, we'll give you a few pieces, just wear them the next time you're making your normal videos. And it's a natural way of just like endorsing the product, but you're not sitting there flashing in their face.
Yeah.
And maybe in the comment, in the like captions, put, okay, like, if you like this clothes, 10% off using X code, and that's that.
Yeah.
Because I do sometimes see ones where it does feel a bit like
salesy.
Yeah, like it almost just feels like you've just been given a bag just to say that, and you don't actually advocate for it, or you don't like it's opposing like a videographer like me getting like I don't know like a ladder. I said a ladder.
Yeah.
Like what am I gonna?
What am I
like,
gonna do with the ladder?
Today I'm editing my video on my ladder. It's like, you get it? Like, it doesn't make sense. So
thank you ladder.com for sponsoring this video.
Literally. So yeah. So I think if you do it in a strategic way, it doesn't even need to be like super sleazy or that sort of thing. So.
But even then, I don't think that pulling up with a let's say a brand gives you a hoodie, for example, putting a hoodie on. I don't think putting a hoodie on is enough anymore. Yeah. People need a story. I need a story behind it.
As to
I don't know if you
why,
remember. Yeah, why should I be involved in this?
Right.
I was gonna say I don't know if you remember back on TikTok, like a couple of months back, there was this like infamous story of like a hoodie girl and like just
was it the one where like some guy found her hoodie or something?
Yeah. So basically, this guy gave this other girl his hoodie. This guy had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend goes on TikTok to talk about that, and then the girl that had the hoodie came on TikTok saying, "Oh, but it was a cute hoodie," and turns out, I think it was just like a black Nike.
Yeah, it's like a hoodie. Super typical, just like regular Nike top.
Do you know? I actually, because I like being analytical like that, I went on Google Trends to check the search results count. For like a search count for the period of time.
Yeah.
And it actually had increased a lot. Like people were looking for the hoodie, people were like, actually like, engaging with that. And I was like, wow, like storytelling is really important. Like you tell a person a very good story, something that they're very invested into, and you can turn that into profit as a brand. You know?
And I think even just talking about the longevity of things, I think a lot of people think, and it's easy to get into the mindset of like, oh, I'm going to drop this song or drop this piece or whatever, and it's going to go viral. But it's like, even if it doesn't, don't write off just yet. Because I remember watching The Gentleman. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix.
Who?
The Gentleman.
Not yet. I haven't seen it.
It's really good. But basically, there's one song in it. The guy made this song like 3 years ago, and it plays in one of the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, a couple weeks later, this guy's on like he's made like Piper and a few of the guys have jumped on the track again.
Oh.
Like 4 years later, they think, oh, we really like this song. We watched it in The Gentleman, so let's jump on a thing together.
Oh, word.
And 4 years later, so imagine like you drop something and you think it does rubbish one day, and then give it like one random day, someone could just be like, oh, let's thing. And you probably got paid obviously for even having the song in The Gentleman. The first probably gets royalties off that. So
of course,
imagine you. I think it's easy to kind of get into the thing of being, oh, like if it doesn't bang tomorrow, it's bad.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's like, nah, like it can, even YouTube. I've seen a lot of creators be like, oh, I made this YouTube video like a couple months ago, and it only took one of my more recent ones going viral for the other one to also then come with it like a year later.
It's
so
like a domino effect of some sort.
Exactly. So I think one of them ones is you just need to keep hitting at that same point in the wall, and just it will eventually cave in. You get it? So 100%.
Throw shit to the wall and see what sticks. Genuinely, like throw shit to the wall and see what sticks. I think that so long as you keep on consistently putting things out there and doing the things that you're actually interested in, like the right people will find you. You don't need to please everybody. Like just that small, percentage of people that are watching your content, like they really vibe with you. Like they'll be like, like, let's show up for you. Like
they'll be like, nah, I'm here to see what you have to say.
Exactly. And that's why like you should just like keep doing it, and it's like putting it into the air, just automatically just put it into the air, put it out there. You never know who's gonna see it. Like that's the thing. It takes one person to fully change your life. Even the example you're giving right now, like besides, if you're a musician, like we live in sampling era. Everybody's sampling everybody. Everybody's sampling everybody. But let's put a pause on that because it's actually a little bit.
Can we allow that, man? Like,
can we? Just, no,
like I'm hearing samples that just don't even make sense. I'm hearing like Madonna and like a drill artist. I'm just like, what's happening?
What is
like how did this even come to light?
Like, please, no, enough.
Like I'm all for creativity, but I think the sampling one for me grinds my gears. I'm not gonna say it. Like, it's not for me.
Like there's sampling and there's sampling. Like you can do it well. Like, don't just like throw some things around. Like, no. But even then, you know, some people might actually vibe with it. Maybe I'm just being a hater.
Yeah, nah. I feel like there's an audience for it somewhere. You get it. So 100%.
But I also have to be honest. I mean, shit is whack.
Straight to the point. Straight to the point.
No, for real. But honestly, I feel like, again, to tie it nicely together, when it comes to... We have a ghost? No, it's just wind. Damn.
Yeah, that's
y'all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if this episode doesn't come out, you know why.
Yeah, you know.
We're cooked somewhere.
Damn. No, I think like in terms of content creation, in terms of like where we headed, it's just it's gonna be very one-to-one. I think it's gonna be even more personal, even more curated, even more authentic as well. You know, people are tired of the clean-cut things. You know, obviously for certain creators that works well, but for a lot of us, it's just like we're exhausted. You know, we like, you know, the digital world is meant to become seamless in a way, integrated into the real world. So, you know, if we're gonna base our things off of reality, there's gonna need to be some elements that are perhaps less curated.
Make more like about everyday.
Yeah, exactly.
Sense.
You know, like everything, show everything. You know, the wins, the losses, everything. You know? So yeah, community, hyper curation, and also high quality. People are very much into like beautiful cinematography level content, like you were saying, mentioning before, that creator. You know, you obviously feel drawn to high quality content. You know, like if your camera is like bad, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna be watching that.
I think like I feel like it's a weird line because it's like it either needs to be really bad to the point where it looks cool, like VHS or something, or like a really old film camera, or it needs to be like really 4K crisp quality. Yeah, but I feel like it's a gray area in between that. It's kind of just like a lot of people are just like, no, like shit on your iPhone like 8 or something like that. You do had for like 8 years or something.
Speaking like with my iPhone 11 Pro Max. To be honest,
sure, that's alright though.
Yeah, like I still like recording stuff with this phone. Like I'm telling you, it's a good phone. I got the 256 gigs, baby. I'm in my Zoom. Like I'm good. I got space.
Cooking, I'm
cooking.
I got 256 and I still ran out.
Yeah, but that's different. You're like, you're a photographer. Like you're an actual creator. I'm just a free. I'm not even gonna say freelance. I'm just here. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me. But it makes sense. It makes sense. I think that again, if creators want to invest more into their, you know, the video quality and so on, I think that it's very important for them to just hold on, let me reconstruct. I think it's very important for creators to like invest into their video quality. Yeah, it's like because like most people watching the video will respond positively to that. As opposed to something that doesn't look so well prepared. You know. Yeah,
doesn't look good.
Yeah, but very excited to see how things go. If you don't die by then, of course. Climate change. Because tell me why it's 22 degrees. And it's barely May time.
We're seeing northern lights as well.
We're seeing our. What did you manage to see them?
I think it was like 2 to 5, and I was already asleep by then.
That's crazy. Yeah, like such a shame. You could have actually like gone up, done the effort, you know.
No, the thing is, I got up in the middle of the night. I just had to peep out the window. Couldn't see anything. I was like, I'm back to bed then. Right, well, I'll see you later. And you guys lied to me, so
I feel like I've been lied to. To be honest, like watching them from Glasgow would have been very difficult. Like
that's even light pollution. I was thinking like surely that's gonna block anything I'd even see in the first place. So
one of my delusional friends was like, I can see it. I was like, you're lying so bad right now. It should be illegal. You cannot see anything in this city. Like the light pollution, like you're not seeing anything, baby. Those are clouds.
It's probably Premiere In or something. That Premiere In video.
I swear, like no, don't fool yourself for real. Don't fool yourself. But yeah, honestly, I'm very excited to see how things go. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. Of course, there's going to be some challenges when it comes to creating content and when it comes to everything else in between. But I think Gen Z has really proven that you can make money in such a variety of ways online. So just put yourself out there, try new things, talk to people, collaborate, and be nice. Be nice. 100%. Okay? Be nice. Yeah.
I think I think that's a even good points to end on. I think like. I thought that's been the main takeaway. If like anybody's to watch, is probably like what you just said there. So Yeah, nah, it was, thank you for having me. Wow.
No, wow.
Whoa.
Guys, I'm the host of
Yeah,
this
so yeah,
podcast
he's going
now.
to finish it off. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It would be good to have this conversation, kind of more of just a conversation, just like about content and just kind of like the future of that side of things and even just what you do as well.
Definitely.
So,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for having me. It's been such a huge pleasure, and I feel like it's been long overdue. So it's
Yeah,
definitely, like,
going
such
from
a-
our meetings to in a coffee shop to have a
this.
podcast. So
I swear,
So,
like
yeah.
In 10 years' time, we're gonna be golden, baby.
we'll come back. We'll come revisit.
We'll come revisit
yeah.
this exact couch. Which, by the way, I need this couch.
Yeah, it's gonna come in.
I need
yeah.
this couch. You should like host like like an auction or something.
Oh,
You should have a
I
bunch
couldn't
of
give this
people.
away.
Huh?
I couldn't. I'm gonna say to Lewis, yeah, I can't like name your price and I'll take it.
That's crazy.
I can't auction this one away.
Oof.
It needs to. It's part of who is set now. So
That's fair. I'll give you that. It's part of the brand identity.
yeah, exactly. So we gotta leave this one.
We gotta leave this one here. That's fair.
but yeah,
I respect it.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Adios. Bye.